Hey guys, I'm back with your extended reading for the collective energy for the week. So we basically left it off in part two about how you're learning how to close doors shut to the point they're bolted. Okay, like there's no entry. Like that's it. Metal, and you put your guard up, and you put one of those like metal things that like cover the door type of thing. Um, that's what you're learning how to do now. But you're also learning how to speak up about this and assert yourself vocally if need be. That sun is really bright out. And it's funny because right before I started recording this video, I was playing with my son, and I kept singing that song, "This Little Light of Mine, I'm gonna let it shine." And I feel like you've come across a lot of people who have tried to dim your light, and to the point where you kind of started dimming your own light and like kind of indulging in like negative self-talk, and telling yourself whether you can't do these things, or you can't be with this person one-on-one on my time, or you can't be in this location, you're not fit for this. And it's just like you're understanding that you do belong, but in the grand scheme of things, things didn't work out for a reason. In the grand scheme of things, it just didn't align with your core values and beliefs. And sorry, throat chakra. um I feel like you're opening up. Sorry. I feel like you're opening up your throat chakra more, and you're being um more truthful about things instead of omitting things, and not in order to not hurt other people's feelings. You're thinking about yourself a little bit more, and knowing that yes, you can't take words back, but your words are also like a form of like I'm getting like a contractual like agreement, even if vocal, even if oral, um that your decision is final answer. Okay, that's what I'm getting. um i was gonna I was going to say something along the lines of also like, you know I mentioned in part two, like, you know if only we treated commitments like relationships, like control, like job recruiters, like someone who was looking for work, um because you don't want to waste that person's time, and you don't want to waste your time any further. And it's about like, having them find the suitable candidate for them. um and if that other person, place, or thing feels that they can go to someone else, or another location is a better fit, or something with more consistency, or something with more stability, you need to express this. Because you not giving closure to things kind of leaves people assuming other things. Okay, so you need to be very direct with your decisions, where you don't look like you're teeter tottering, you don't look like you're juggling, you don't look like you know you have other options, because that's the image, that's the aesthetic that you give to others when you act in that manner, when you entertain other options and you leave other people hanging, other people, places, situations hanging. And if you're not the person that's like being upfront about those like offers not being for you and settling for less, then this applies to the person who's having all these options. This is what you're giving off to people. Okay, and you might not necessarily care in the grand scheme of things how you are being portrayed to others, but if there's someone that you truly care about, and you don't want your perspective of yourself, of this person, to like get the wrong idea or impression, it's just best to be honest. I can't commit to you at this time because you live too far. I can't commit to you at this time because you need consistency. I can't commit to you at this time because I don't meet your income requirements. Like, do you like, even if it hurts the other person's feelings, you know what I'm saying? I can't commit to you because I'm not emotionally invested. I can't commit to you because mentally I'm elsewhere. You know what I'm saying? And it's just, like, the more I think about it, I feel like like we've we live in a very capitalistic, patriarchal society, and I fear, okay, I fear that this has trickled down even to the mundane, not the mundane, but like the minuscule dynamics where we're treating others. I feel like we've like gone backwards where we're treating others like a business transaction. We're treating others like, like you don't have any worth if you don't meet A, B, C, D boxes, if you don't fit into these boxes. And we take out like the humanity and the empathy of out of that. I feel, and then we wonder why we're not fully satisfied. Then we wonder why, um like there's so many people that are still hung up on their past and afraid to make changes, even if it means to someone else. And learning how to discern between intuition and your shadow slash ego. Are you operating from like a knowing, like like, or are you operating from fear? I feel like you're also like you're wanting to be of service to your community. You're wanting to be of service to society, but you can't trust others if you don't trust yourself first. You have to be able to trust your own decisions. And it's okay to take perspectives outside of you, but it's not okay to just take that perspective. What about you? Because the advice that you get, ultimately that person is not walking in your shoes, you are. I can even give you this advice, but ultimately, like, like your decisions are your own. If something doesn't feel right about a person, place, or situation, trust that. But also, like, learn the difference between a red flag and a mistake, like a sincere mistake. I feel like you are tapping into some type of spirituality or spiritual awakening that's kind of opening your eyes, opening doors, because your eyes are the windows to your soul, right? And I kept getting that quote this weekend. In order to understand it, you have to see it first. And I think this is where you are, where a situation is going to like be made crystal clear to you, like, oh, I've outgrown this. Oh, I don't belong here anymore. Oh, this is not for me. And it's going to show you your growth on all levels. Even spiritually, it's not going to resonate. But not being so down about it either, where you don't see the humor in it. Like, when they always say, oh, you'll think back and laugh on this 20 years later, that type of thing. And in that moment, you can't really, because like your emotions, you're dealing with some intense emotions. Um, but learning how to flip it like this, opening this door to personal healing and happiness, making your own happiness, not depending on others for said happiness, not depending on others to fill a void, not depending on others as a means of escapism, not depending on others to alleviate your loneliness, and being content in your solitude, being content with yourself, being content with knowing what you have to offer. Um, you are enough. You are more than enough. what you do is enough and what you have is enough. And simultaneously, not looking for outside sources to kind of fit those puzzle pieces either. 10-10 on my time as I'm saying that. Um, being complete within yourself and showing, and this is what is going to attract what it is that you desire, how it is that you love, what it is that you're looking for. And the only way you can really do it is by getting out there, by, and I'm not saying to like date 50,000 people. No, I'm saying to like, you know, take part in community events, you know, even if it's with your family members or your children or whatever, like put yourself, stop isolating yourself, stop going into hermit mode. Yeah, we are in a big bad world out there. We're living in, you know, literally the physical manifestation of hell. But while we're here, might as well make the best of it. And I think this is just more of an introspection slash self reflection reading. I don't think this is more, like where you are now, because I feel like, you know, we're almost at the end of the year. Christmas and then New Year's is coming, right? I feel like this is like one of those like, let's wrap it up. What did we learn? Type thing. Um, what did we learn this year? What do we, you know? I feel like leaving this year on a good note. Um, and start. You're going to literally start on a good note. Um, things might look harsh. Things might look bleak, but as long as you don't stop trying, as long as you fully believe in yourself, and we teach this, like, you know, I take educational courses for kids with special needs. I have my own special needs child, and one of the things is social emotional skill building. And it's just like, despite whatever trauma you've been through, despite whatever in disabilities you have, despite whatever like blockages are in your road, believe in yourself. Like, I know it sounds so corny, I know it sounds so like childish to say, but some of us like are walking around, a lot more, I want to say like 90 something percent of people, we we are all walking around with wounded inner children. And you can tell in the ways that people act, the ways that people talk, the way that the decisions that people make, despite knowing better, or maybe they don't really know better, because, you know, and I don't want to go into scientifically the science of it either, but um, you know, like most of us, our frontal lobes haven't developed, and you can tell who's emotionally by people who are emotionally dysregulated and emotionally react to things, as opposed to logically reacting to things. People who communicate effectively, people who, despite opposition, despite who people who authentically are themselves in a world that kind of tries to fit you into a mold and saying, no, this version of you is not good enough. Like, put this mask on, put this on, okay? Um, people who are like so brave to be themselves and believe in something despite opposition, despite like the popular opinion. That's who you know is on a like on the right path. And I feel like I always say this: healing isn't linear, and knowing when to be a student, but also knowing when to be a teacher. And you're also learning this. Um, we do not, in fact, know it all. And if you're one of the smartest people in the room, then you're in the wrong room. You need to be around people, places, situations that are conducive to your growth, and that means people, places, situations that challenge you, people, places, situations that stimulate you, people, places, situations that positively contribute to your overall well-being. I'm not just talking professionally. I'm not just talking um spiritually. I'm talking to people who are overall good for your well-being, like emotional and mental well-being, and knowing how to discern that. Because sometimes when something is off, it's because one of those are not in sync. And that's how you know you're not in the right environment. I take it like this. Some like there's a song in Spanish that's like it's called Estoy aquí, pero mi mente está allá. It's like you're here, but your mind is elsewhere. You're not in the right location. My mind is here, but my heart is elsewhere. You're not in the right location. And knowing when to kind of like follow that internal compass, follow and trust yourself. Because you can, let's say you're lost and you come across like one or two people. 16 on my time as I'm saying this. One person is going to give you the right directions. The other person is going to lead you, probably takes the long route. The other person probably might know a shortcut. One person is just telling you what instead of telling you the truth, they tell you, oh, make a left when you're really supposed to make a right. And knowing which advice to follow, knowing who, that's another thing of learning how to discern between who is giving you advice um, to harm you and who is giving you advice um, or based on their own agenda, or who is giving you advice to like really help you and push you forward. And knowing when to take criticism, knowing when to take because for example, I have a family member who's very critical, and the way she talks is very like is very stern and like authoritative, and it's just like and I argue with her like, nah, man, that's not, you're being pessimistic, da 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 da. And then I put myself in that situation, and then I'm like, man, she was right. And it was just like her approach that I took offense to. But in the grand scheme of things, like, she really was looking out for me. She really was pointing me in the right direction. I was in my ego, I was in my shadow, and I didn't pay attention to it because of maybe her prior history with my prior history with her, and understanding that she's a different person now, that she's not going to like lead me astray. um and understanding that people grow, understanding that people's minds can change, understanding that hearts can change, understanding that spirits can change, the core of a person can change, and you can tell who is and who isn't based on their actions, based on um the way they move. It doesn't necessarily, like, Puerto Ricans are always gonna have attitude. We're always gonna be loud and have a little attitude to us, but it's in the way that you know and we also have like everybody has stereotypes, right? um but it's in the way that we move, it's in the way that we approach situations, tough situations, that really define us. And do you remain like humble even with yourself? If do you show yourself grace? Do you show yourself compassion even in the lowest of the low? Now take that perspective and apply that somewhere else. Because if you can't do that for yourself, how are you going to do that for someone else? We can all lose everything that we've ever had and start from zero and start from scratch. I'm confident that if I lost everything today, I know that I can get it back. I know that I can work to get it all back because I believe in myself that fully. And that is what you're learning. Guys, I hope someone was able to obtain some type of clarity. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm available for personal readings, parties, and events. All my information is within the description box. I hope you guys have a great holiday with your families, and see you in the next reading. Take care. Bye.